Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're doing Waiver Wire Week 12. And I am, as always, don't ever leave, joined by my co-host, Jason Beckner, JR Becks on Twitter. Hey, Jason, how's it going, bud?
Good, buddy. I was up a little bit way too late last night watching Bonnaroo live on Hulu. So if I'm a little groggy this morning, then you know why.
Does that mean I'm going to see air guitar in the background, or what?
We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. It could just be, go on to an air guitar riff in the middle of the Waiver Wire video.
And the reason I like this player is, just. So, as always, the fun here is brought to you by fantasy6pack.net. Please come on down, read the articles, become a subscriber because of all the amazing kind of features and advantages to becoming a subscriber. You have the paywalled articles. We have a lot of free content, but there's paywalled articles as well. Like, for instance, Waiver Wire Week 12, the article itself, we're giving you the free names off of it, the 10 free names. But there's typically 40, 50 names back there. So if you're in a deep league, or if you come on and say like, oh, I already own all these people that you guys are talking about, I must be doing great. We go deeper. And in fact, we got yelled at by our editor yesterday. I'm going to give you a little look behind the curtain. He's like, can you guys pick like more relevant names to get clicks? And we pushed back and said, hey, we're trying to help people. And typically the names like, that have been out there are not going to be on the waiver wires. Like, we can't pick Ohtani. Yes, we'd love to be able to put Ohtani on waiver wire, but we all know that he's not available. So that's not a relevant name. So again, if you go on our site, become a subscriber, you can get that. And also our Discord, one of my favorite ways to interact with our subscribers, because they ask questions that can get really deep. And sometimes we have 4 or 5 of the analysts working on this one question because there's all these different aspects to it. We do disagree. And I think that's great. We don't have kind of that common, think mode that everybody has to agree on things. So you can then make a choice from all the information we give you. So come on down, become a subscriber. So enough of that. Let's dig into our Waiver Wire Week 12. And we start, as we have for the last couple of shows, with hitting you over the head with, why haven't you picked this guy up yet? And we start him off with Orlando Arcia. So again, as a reminder, and I'm sorry, Milwaukee Brewers fans, please cover your ears. As an Oakland A's fan, or Vegas A's, whatever, I have heard these types of things before, so I apologize. But as you might recall, Orlando Arcia was one of the top prospect with the Orlando Brewers, with the Milwaukee Brewers for years, and he just never reached to that level of all that hype that he was getting. In fact, Twitter, Ken Rosenthal calls out a fantastic article. If you have a subscription to The Athletic, it's worth the read. It really talks about how the trade came about for Orlando Arcia, how he ended up on the Braves. But Ken Rosenthal calls out that Orlando Arcia All-Star, ? He's currently the leading vote getter among NL shortstops. So that's something to think about. Now, in case you don't remember, because, how could you not? The people that Arcia was traded for back in the day, Patrick Weigel and Chad Sobotka. Right. Yeah, both relievers, mind you. And I am sure that the Brewers would like to hit that to-do button. If you try to do that now in any fantasy league, it would be vetoed by everybody. And I hate vetoes, but that definitely would be vetoed. I just don't see how that could possibly happen. So he's playing incredible defense. He's going to be out there all the time. Atlanta knows what they're doing, but the infield positions in Atlanta, I feel, are kind of hollowed, right? They're these amazing. You have the Chipper Jones for third base. You have all these Freeman on first. You have all these players that you can name almost every one of those positions. So to play on the infield there and to be just performing, I wouldn't say out of his mind, but performing up to the level that he's supposed to be performing, just shows that he's ready for this next step. So let's talk a little bit about, where we are at his stats, right? So right now he has 187 plate appearances. We don't talk about our bats here because of walks. We have 23 RBIs, 5 home runs, and 28 runs scored, which you're going to do in Atlanta. But the important thing here is he's cut down on his K rate. It was never that high. It was 21% last year and 21% the year before, but now he's at 18%. And he's right with his walks have always been 9% last year. He's at 8.6% this year. So where is the gains, right? I mean, those are pretty good numbers. 5 home runs in about 20 less games where he hit 9 home runs last year. It's the other stats that he's absolutely smashing. And I'm trying to use some new verbiage because I did get some feedback that I'm using the same action verbs every time, but I get excited. So his average last year, 244. This year, 329. Last year, OBP was 316. Small improvement, 390. I mean, almost 80 points. And then his slugging, 416 to 465. It's just incremental, just increases. And the other thing too, right? His WAR last year on his defense was in the negative. It was a negative 2.6. This year, it's a positive 4.4. So he's doing it on both sides of the ball. And frankly, what I love, and when I go and search for these names on Twitter or things of that nature, I really like to take in where are the tweets coming from in the sense of what are the topics they're covering. And the first 12 were all defensive kind of web gems. And I love that. And that shows me that this person has staying power. Even if he starts slumping with the bat a little bit, he's going to have staying power in that potent lineup. So, bang, you've been hit over the head again. Pick some Orlando Arcia. Jason, please.
Yeah,
make these people believe.
It's insane that he's still available in over 50% of leagues. This guy's betting on basically 330. He had another 2 hits last night. He's in arguably one of the best lineups of all of baseball right now. He's never hit over 300 in his career. So obviously, you go to Atlanta, and Atlanta just keeps turning these guys into superstars. And thanks largely in part to his 76th percentile hard hit rate. He's just like spraying the ball to all fields. He's using all fields. If you look at his spray chart, it's like, scattered across the diamond. It's not pull heavy. He's not opposite field heavy. I mean, this guy should be owned in every league. And I know shortstop, there's a few, top end guys, but after those top end guys, there's not a lot of guys that's going to give you what he's giving you with that 300 average, almost 400 OBP. That's like top tier OBP. I mean, this guy definitely needs to be owned in more than 50% of leagues. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100% agree. So just pause the video, go out to your waiver wires. If he's there, just pick him up and just drop whoever's the lowest on your team. Just don't even look. Just drop that reliever, drop that that outfielder that you've been the 9th outfielder that you have that you keep hoping like, oh, he's going to pay off. He's my sleeper pick. Don't drop him and pick up Orlando Arcia if he's available. Yeah. So let's get to our new names. We were laughing pre-show because we just our heads are in the gutter. But AJ Smith-Shawver, we just thought it was funny what his initials were. But AJ Smith-Shawver came up, and a lot of people are burned out by these hot prospect rookie pitchers that then come up and suck. Let's be honest, or getting just destroyed, right? And we had another one, and we're like, is he going to be like everybody else? And AJ Smith-Shawver has been not just kind of interesting in the fact that he hasn't gotten the blowups, but he's not doing what his scouting report said he was going to do. And Chris Clegg on Twitter really called it out because the first sentence here is what I was concerned about, and I'll let Chris say it better, right? Some were concerned that AJ Smith-Shawver was just a 2-pitch guy. Last night, he showed the capabilities of being a true 4-pitch guy. Last night, he threw 8 changeups, got 6 swings, and all were whiffs. So, and he shows this one where Diaz takes his swing and ends up on his knees. So, and then another one here, real quick, just to understand how elite his fastball is. It's not because of the speed, right? We always think elite fastball is, look how fast it is. It's the spin rate. He has thrown 121 four-seam fastballs again. So this is from SGM Braves 2 on Twitter. 121 four-seam fastballs so far. And he has a 99 percentile active spin on that pitch. That's elite spin efficiency. So when you combine having a heavy elite fastball that has that spin rate, you can do great things. I wanted to dig a little deeper, though, on what Chris had touched on, because from the surface, I always thought of him as AJ Smith-Shawver as a fastball slider guy. That was in my head. Nothing really from any report. I just from seeing videos from him, I always thought fastball slider. In actuality, Chris is dead on. If you look at what he's thrown so far, right? He's doing 54% fastballs with about an average of 94 miles per hour, 27.2 sliders, and an 84.4 miles per hour. That's a 10 mile an hour difference. I mean, just the speed difference is just crazy. His curveballs, he's doing 12.5%. I mean, that's not nothing, right? That's a significant number. And again, that's a 77. But I wanted to highlight this. He has a changeup that he's not throwing that often, but he's throwing it enough, right? It's almost at 7%, 6.3. But listen to the mile per hour difference. Again, it's not just about location. It's really changing the speed, the eye level, everything for the hitter, keeping him off balance. Fastball, 54%, mind you, at 94 miles an hour on average. Changeup, 6% at 85.9 miles per hour. That's like 8 mile an hour difference. To have a prospect that, I think he's just 22, unless I'm wrong there, Jason. Is he 22?
20.
Yeah, 20. Oh, so he can't even drink yet, and he's changing speeds more than I do in my car when I'm trying to, get on the highway. I mean, that's some pretty veteran stuff. Now, is he getting the Ks that we're used to? Not yet, right? Again, he's only started 2 games, but he's averaging 7.4 Ks per 9. But he's showing everything else, right? He's showing the control, the 2.7 walks per 9, which is sort of in line. He's typically at 3, high 3, almost 4 walks, but the strikeouts in the minors were much higher, right? 11.5 double A and 9.75 in triple A. But everything else there, considering how shallow starting pitcher is right now because of all the injuries and just people that are just terrible, he's showing a heck of a, propensity to be a guy that should be sticking around this lineup. The one red flag, because look, not everybody's awesome from start to finish, right? Is his home run rate. That's the one thing that kind of concerns me. It's 10% home run fly ball rate. That's pretty high. And also he's giving 1.35 home runs per 9. That's something to watch for. But I'm hoping as the Ks come up, that home run level comes down. But that's the one thing if hitters are teeing off on a particular pitch or something, maybe he's going to get dropped in that 4-pitch mix that we just talked about. Maybe one of those pitches does not need to be in the majors. I don't know yet. It's only been 2 starts, but I always like to call out those particular things. All right, Jason, I've talked enough about this guy, and I think I've made it pretty clear that I've written love letters to him that I don't want to talk about. But tell me if I'm way off base here.
No, I mean, if you're gonna, call out some prospects and some young pitchers, what better place than go to Atlanta? They just continue to churn out these guys that are 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old pitchers that just developed. This guy was drafted in 2021 as a prep arm. So, I mean, this guy's only basically 2 years removed from being in high school. He's just developed so well. Again, doesn't overpower hitters, but like I said, the secondary offers have been great. The slider's been great. I mean, if Max Fried right now has been set back again, I think he's back now, pushed to like the middle of July at the earliest.
Yep.
So he's going to have a rotation spot in that dominant Braves lineup. You're going to I would expect at least wins, if not quality starts, QA3s even, obviously.
Right.
He absolutely needs to be owned, and I'm here for any of the Braves prospect pitching. I'm here for. I think in the last 3-4 years, I can name one pitcher that didn't work out, and that was Touki Toussaint, who actually made a start for Cleveland last night. Believe it or not.
I love Touki. I mean, what a great name. I'm sorry. How can you say Touki and not have a smile when you say it? I'm sorry. And look, I'm not gonna lie. Mookie Betts, right, is one of my daughter's, who's 11 years old, favorite player. So yeah, Mookie and Touki all day long here. So that's awesome. Okay, so our next player up is Patrick Bailey, catcher for San Francisco. And again, going back to what happens when I search for a name on Twitter, I like to talk about what I see. I had to scroll, God, it felt like 30 minutes to get to anything about his offense because everything was showing his defense, his pop-up, and how he got Mookie Betts at third, just just elite pop-up times for Patrick Bailey. Why do you care? Because catchers can, especially young catchers, right? If they start, being terrible with the bat, then they start getting platooned. If you're showing elite ability to hold runners, have runners not stealing your pitchers, and obviously not allowing pass balls, that gives you playing time. And that definitely gives you a margin of error with your bat as well. So first thing that, got me kind of, okay, this is good to see with Patrick Bailey. I knew about his bat, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not checking every day for his defensive prowess. And at a 24-year-old catcher to kind of show his just ability to just nail stealers looks great. And of course, I'll give you one guess, Jason Beckner. What is the name you think they keep saying every time they say Patrick Bailey on Twitter? What name do you think they compare him to?
Well, I was going to say, my original thought was someone on his own team who keeps thinking, who's supposed to be was Joey Bart, but
there you go. Literally 50% of the tweets are Bart-esque or Joey. This is what Joey Bart was supposed to be, And then, of course, they use the P word. We don't talk about the P word here, right? Posey. So, it's in one sense, I think it's kind of giving, the final shoveling of dirt onto a previous top prospect that everybody thought was going to be him. And guess what? Giants, nice people. I'm sorry, I'm an A's fan. You got another amazing catcher in your system. So we don't do pop-up times here, right? Unless you're some awesome league that does pop-up times as a fantasy value. But I do want to just one more. Just give me one more, okay, before you get mad at me. 95th percentile in framing, and his pop-up time is 98th percentile. I mean, that's just craziness. But let's talk about the stuff that you guys actually care about in the fantasy community. What has he done for you lately? In 80 plate appearances, we're talking about 3 home runs, which is great, especially for catcher. 17 RBIs, 9 runs. Oh, okay, so he's not scoring runs. Oh, no. But what he is doing is when he does make contact, he has a 230 ISO. The K rate is high. It's at 28.7. It's not where I want it to be. I'd love it to be a little bit lower. The part that it's not going to help you in is if you're in an OBP league, I mean, you're still going to want to pick him up, but he's not going to help you in your on-base percentage rate. He has a 3.8% walk rate. That's much lower than his minors. And his minors, everything was double digits. It was always 10 or above. So definitely, I expect that to come up as he stays there. So we're talking about a triple slash line of 311 average, 346 OBP, and 541 slugging. That will play pretty much everywhere. Unless you somehow got the top 3, JT Realmuto's, he's JT Realmuto, and you got one of the other top 3 catchers. After that, I think it's all an argument of where you can play him. And Patrick Bailey definitely should have a part there. And in a 2-catcher league, I mean, come on. Patrick Bailey is going to take out your second catcher any day of the week. I don't even tell me who it is. He'll be better than your second catcher. I hate talking about Giants, Jason. I'm sorry. Always going to be a rival, but I know what our viewers want. They want these names. But give me some more Patrick Bailey love.
I think a lot of stuff you nailed on the head, though. But yeah, I mean, catcher, always looking for another catcher, right? I mean, there's guys right now, just, maybe to toot our own horn. Jonah Heim was touted on this episode. It's probably like week 1 or 2 or 3. And to me, I picked him up everywhere, and he's been one of the top catchers in the league. Yep. Patrick Bailey is on his way probably to being, one of the top catchers in the league this year. 10 so far through his first 21 games, 10 extra base hits, 17 RBI. That's almost an RBI a game. What more do you want from your catcher than an RBI a game? And he's got, you nail the ISO on the head. So when he's getting the hit, he's getting it hard. He's going to get extra base hits. And he hits in the middle of that, in that lineup. So, I mean, he's getting, I feel like Giants, I know you like to talk about them, but they don't get a lot of love for their hitting. Like, they always just got these guys that are just like under the radar names. hence Patrick Bailey. It was 4 runs. So, I mean, if you're going to get a guy that's in the middle of that lineup that's going to drive in those runs at the catcher position, I'm all for the Patrick Bailey.
During our NL team previews, we were talking about the Giants. And one of the things that we talked about was they always find veterans and they somehow extend their career for another, 10, 15 years. And they have like 80-year-old veterans, running around the field. With Haniger being out, and Haniger's not a catcher. I know that. But I'm saying Haniger being out and some of the other veterans that are really not stepping up, they really are looking for this power bat. And they already have, 1 or 2, but he's going to stick in the middle of that lineup. There's nobody really pushing him out of there. There's nobody pushing for the catcher position for sure, but there's nobody pushing him out of the middle of that lineup. And so that's really a key. And I don't care how bad the team is, middle lineup is where you get the RBIs. And so as the season continues to progress, he's going to get continued to, kind of settle into there. There's RBIs to be had.
Yep.
So we go to somebody from maybe somebody you didn't know, Patrick Bailey, but somebody who everybody knows. We're just trying to remind you that he's going to be back here pretty soon if he's not already. And that is our friend Pete Fairbanks. Now, this one, I get to tell you a funny story because I love to find little funny quirk things on Twitter. And what better person to talk about than John Boy Media, who always loves to put on quirky, fun joke stuff on Twitter. But Pete Fairbanks is returning from his hip injury, and he has a black eye. So you have to ask yourself, well, how did he get the black eye? He was dunking on his 3-year-old son. And the quote is awesome. He goes, you have to teach him an early lesson in life. When you're in the paint, you cannot be caught unaware underneath the rim. So that's why he had to dunk on his 3-year-old, and he got the black eye from it. I mean, in the pool, mind you, but I liked Pete Fairbanks just from his stats. Now I love Pete Fairbanks. I already looked for Pete Fairbanks shirt just from that. I hope they make one where he's dunking on a 3-year-old and somehow the 3-year-old's punching him or something.
RotoWire have it.
Yeah, I'm calling RotoWire right now. I will do that after this show. 1-800-RotoWire. What's going on? Because how is this not a shirt? I digress. So just to remind you, for those people that somehow forgot, in 15 games before he got hurt, he had 7 saves and 1 blown save. For the Tampa Bay Rays, who are one of the top teams in the major leagues. Now, you could say, well, it's Tampa Bay. Are they going to move players around? I don't really feel, unless, Jason, please correct me if I'm wrong, that anybody really grabbed that closer position while Fairbanks was on the IL. Mm-mm. So last season, 14 per 9 K rate and a 1.13 walks per 9. That is what you want from your closer. Now, right now, and again, we don't know when that injury happened, he's at a 7.4 Ks per 9 and a 3.3 walks per 9. But if you look at last season, that can really come down. Now, all the seasons before, 21, 2020, 19, he had a 4 walk rate going along with a double-digit K rate. I have to think that there was some type of adjustment that they made in 2022 that really brought down that walk rate, considering that he did that in about 24 games and really showed kind of this ability to miss bats. His ERA is right where it should be, right? 1.35. Expected ERA is about a run higher. So again, there's a lot to take there, but it's 15 games and we don't know when he got hurt. He's an elite closer. He needs to be picked up everywhere. Grab him before one of your league mates does. If somebody dropped him because you have, one of those terrible 3 IL only leagues or whatever, because he just with the closer situation right now, if you're in a saves only league, well, first off, don't be in a saves only league. I'm only in 2 of those and I hate them both. But if you're in a saves only league, Fairbanks needs to be owned. If you're in a saves plus hold league, Fairbanks needs to be owned. Jason, help me out here. Is there any other good stuff we could talk about?
Yeah, there's a ton. I can't,
love it.
We looked up this, some guys for this weekend, and Pete Fairbanks he's available in over 50% of leagues, which is insane. This is a guy that was given the closer job at the beginning of the season, what's something that everybody chases in season is that saves. Right now, he's coming off the IL. He was forced right back into that closer role. He's now 2 for 2 in his first 2 games back in closing. This is a guy that had a 44% K rate last year. And by the way, he played for the best team in baseball. And I just looked, they are top 3, actually tied in first for save opportunities. I mean, what more do you want? There's a guy that's owned in half the leagues out there that's going to get the most save opportunities and is going to convert those save opportunities. I mean, I don't need to go any further. Pete Fairbanks has got to be owned in 100% of leagues. It's shocking.
I want to understand why I'm in the wrong league. Why can't I be in these other leagues? I mean, can somebody please invite us to your league? We promise to just be slightly good in them. I mean, I just want to be in the play. I want to be where the people are, to quote my friend Ariel.
Just real quick.
Yeah, no, too slow.
The Rays have 51 wins. 38 of those games have been save opportunities. I don't know what, I can't do that quick math, but that's like what, 80-something% chance of getting a save every day?
I could do this math. It's 30 plus save opportunities.
Yeah.
So
the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, I think you might be good. I don't know, but I just to let you know, I did send out the tweet while you were talking. I apologize. I was totally listening, but I did because you put a good thing in my head to RotoWire to make that Peter Fairbanks NBA Jams T-shirt.
Nice.
So, anyways, all right. So I had to go from a team that I don't like talking about, the Giants. Again, I'm sorry. I don't know if I brought that up already. But to a team that a lot of people typically don't like to talk about if you're not a Yankees fan, and that's the Yankees. But I love talking about them today because we get to put a little salt on that wound. Man, we could have talked about another ex-Yankee, but we apparently had too many names to talk about. So Ryan O'Hearn. But Aaron Hicks, wouldn't the Yankees like to have Aaron Hicks back right now? Because nothing's more fun than typing in Aaron Hicks on Twitter. And I'm not seeing it goes between two. It goes between two types of tweets. I probably went through about 8 pages of tweets, and it's either why did the Yankees trade away Aaron Hicks or Cashman needs to be fired. And then they quote Aaron Hicks, new batting line. It's lovely to me. So Aaron Hicks, got let go. I mean, they didn't even trade him. He just got kicked off the roster, and now he's playing at the heart. I believe, yesterday he was the number 6 hitter, switch hitter, center field for the Orioles. So just down the road there. And since he's gone to the Orioles in 14 games, 51 plate appearances, he's hitting .302, .412, .535. That's nuts. Now, will he keep that going? Absolutely not. There's nothing that shows us, even in the minors, that he's going to hit, 500 slugging. But for somebody who is playing in a ballpark that a lot of people felt suppressed power, he's finding a way to get it done. And he's still doing what he does. He still takes a walk. In fact, he has beautifully 8 walks and 8 strikeouts. He has 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. We talk about these a lot, right? O'Hearn is also somebody we're not going to cover, but I'm just calling him right now. O'Hearn for sure. O'Hearn and Hicks are 2 players that you absolutely need to ride the hot bat. Be ready to drop them when they come back down to earth, but ride the hot bat. And I don't know, we've seen this play out in every sport. They get cut from a team that they've been with for forever, and then they get mad. Or, I don't know, maybe the rival team says, hey, by the way, do you know why you suck? Because you've, instead of doing this, you do this, bring it down 1 inch, whatever. Something happens and it clicks and they get pissed. And I'm for it. I am all for being here for these numbers and the Aaron Hicks, revenge tour. Absolutely. And you should be too. Jason, let's make some more Yankee fans mad.
I mean, like you said, I think you need to ride this hot streak while you can, because Aaron Hicks is no stranger to the IL list. He's often injured, but when he is healthy, even when he was with the Yankees and now, I mean, he's just always produced. This is a guy that's hit, a couple years removed from almost 30 home runs and 90 runs scored when he was with the Yankees. So he has that power. He has that ability to, be productive in a lineup when healthy. And then since joining the Orioles, I don't know what to call them, Baltimore Orioles, whatever. Since joining the Orioles, he's reached base safely in every game, and he has a 443 WOBA. I mean, what more do you want than a hot-hitting outfielder right now? But, I mean, grab him, put him in your lineup. He's got to be better than one of your, bottom bench guys. And then when he starts to, either gets on the IL or starts to struggle, then, move on to the next guy.
I'm sorry. Did you just say Boba?
I didn't know what WOBA.
I know you did. Yeah. I was just thinking about I had a Boba. Have you ever had a Boba?
I have.
Yeah, I gotta say I wasn't ready. I thought I expected something else from the little jelly filled things, and I just wasn't ready. I need to get my mind right and go back and do it again. But I wasn't ready there. But yes, the Wobas definitely are letting you know that this is a good pickup for you. Woba away, I love it. All right, so I hate players like this because this is a player that I had for years on my dynasty roster, and I finally dropped him like a year ago. And then, of course, he comes up and shows me why I'm an idiot. Leody Taveras, he is a man on a mission right now. So John Anderson, we've called him out sometimes because on this show. So that's John JONPUPGH on Twitter. So he does a rundown. Hitters with 200 plus plate appearances, great ground ball percentage under 50%, which you want because in the air, good things happen. Hard hit rate over 45%, and a K rate under 20%. So, start going down that list and it starts getting smaller and smaller. So he shows the hitters. Ordered by OPS, so that's on base percentage plus slugging. Acuna is number 1. Yandy Diaz is number 2. Number 7 on that list, sandwiched between Gurriel and Brian Reynolds, is Taveras. Sorry, I said Taveras. Taveras. Right there. And just some other names on there, Kyle Tucker, Vladimir Guerrero. That's a great place to be. And the thing is when you look at his Savant page, it's red everywhere except for 2 places. Barrel percentage, 39%, and walk percentage, 40%. He was never going to be a walk percentage guy. But hard hit rate, 70%. Expected batting average, 94%. And on top of that, he's still playing elite defense. Arm strength is still 94%. His jump on those balls is still high. And if you look at his spray chart, he's always had right field, opposite field power. That's where all his home runs are. All his home runs are opposite field. But the singles is what cracks me up. You look at this infield, it's absolutely peppered with singles. 3 of them are right by the first base bag. I'd love to be able to click on those and just look at exactly how that play manifested itself. I'm sorry, there is 1 home run on his pool side. I apologize. But he's hitting everywhere. The spray chart is exactly that. It's a spray chart. It looks phenomenal. And I love seeing that from a guy who started the season, 1 game, but he was in AAA. But he's been bounced around, AAA, AA, and this is just last year as well. But right now, he's at 8% walk rate, 18% K rate, which is phenomenal, and almost at 200 in ISO. So elite defender, hitting the ball hard, 7 home runs with a 300, 357, 485 triple slash line. Taveras is broken out finally. I mean, it looks like this can be a sustained breakout. In fact, I'm looking through here and I'm trying to find. So other than 2022, where he had 99 games, and 2021, where he had 87 games, I don't see any other sustained runs in the majors where we can really say, hey, this is what happens, or he's going to hit a wall, because he's already matched his total. I just need to look one. Yep. He's already, he's already beat his home run total from the last 2 times he's been in the majors for as long as he has. Sorry, I have a bug in here that's driving me insane. I don't see where we can't. And 7 stolen bases. I'm sorry. I keep looking at the stat line. I keep finding nuggets. It's crazy. There's so many little Easter eggs here. I've picked them up in 4 of my 4 outfield leagues. I would have picked them up in 3 if he was available. I think he could be available. I think he could be picked up in almost every league, regardless of format, unless I'm missing something, Jason.
Yeah, no, I mean, this guy's one of those guys is a perfect example of just an overlooked player that's been producing and no one even notices. But he's also part of the Texas lineup that is now the top run producing lineup in all of baseball. So not only are the runs going to be there, the RBIs are going to be there. The 7 stolen bases are great. He's cut down on the K rate. He's got an XBA right now of 301, which is in the top 5% of the league. So not only is he hitting for a high average, but he's expected to be hitting for that high average. His XBA is actually higher than his BA. So he's just one of those gritty players that, just doesn't get the love that he should be. I don't understand why. A lot of times the outfield, if you're in a 4 and 5 outfield league, there's no reason he should not be not even on your team, but he should be in your starting lineup.
I almost wonder if it's prospect fatigue. We've heard his name for so long as the guy that's coming up, and he didn't perform at that level, or got hurt, or whatever the case may be, or got pushed by somebody else. And I think it's just we've heard his name for so long. It's like, ugh, not him again. Yeah. But at the same time, we've seen people in their mid-20s, finally break out, and I think this is the time. I think the heralded coming of the Taveras has arrived. All right, so pitching has been a graveyard. It just has. From the Sandy Alcantaras of the world all the way down, there has been a lot of disappointments and a lot of injuries. So we're trying to do something we haven't been able to do. We've tried to do a double dip in pitching this week. And Ranger Suarez is that guy. So Pitching Ninja, I can't really say much here because there's always some amazing video that Pitching Ninja always puts up here. But on not his last start, but the start before, he had 4 consecutive Ks. When I think Ranger Suarez, I don't typically think K rate. And the first thing I see there is 4 consecutive Ks. Well, you don't see that even from some of the best strikeout pitchers, right? And 4 consecutive Ks is pretty good. His last start was a gem, a quality start. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 105 pitches, 64 for strikes. That will get it done. Now, this is a Phillies team that's really underperforming, but at some point, they got to turn it around. I mean, with that much talent, I expect it to be turned around at some point. And Ranger Suarez is right kind of in the heart of that. Now, he has those 2 losses in those 7 games started, but I'm seeing the change in both him and the Phillies in general. And his 27th year, I'm sorry, his year 27. He's 27 years old. 27 years in the league. That'd be spectacular. His home run for fly ball rate last year was 11%. That's not going to get it done. He's at 8% this year. It's definitely better. ERA at 3.82, which is right in line with what it was last year. 3.65. His expected ERA is above 4, so we should see a little bit of regression there, but it's not huge. But the improvements that's occurred over the last couple of games has really shown that we're starting to see an increase in a lot of different things. He's decreased his fastball usage this year. It's almost downticked by almost 5%. And anytime I see that, right, we either see a decrease in a particular pitch, and if you see the kind of the change, or somebody's starting to get better because typically it's because somebody said, hey, you're getting just nailed in this particular place, and that shows a lot to me that he's hearing, he's seeing what he needs to do there, and he's getting it done. Fastball usage, slider, and he's got his changeup as well. He's got 5 pitches, which is great. And again, the team is going to continue to improve. I just see this as a ground floor of getting onto a pitcher that has been there before, is a veteran, and frankly, we looked at it for a while, as we built up to this show, trying to find pitchers that aren't owned. Because it seems like everybody, even like the 4th tier pitchers owned, and Ranger Suarez fits that bill of not being owned everywhere, being on a team that should start winning games more than they are already, and it's throwing strikes. So I love it all around. Jason, tell me all the things I missed.
I mean, not much. I mean, you like nailed it on the head. I mean, it seems like every week, right? Everyone's looking for another pitcher to replace or another injured pitcher to replace. And Ranger Suarez right now is available in 75% of leagues. This is that veteran. Like I said, he's really kind of come into his own right now. He's really starting to learn how to pitch. You nailed it on the head. He's not relying on that fastball now. He's doing a good job of mixing those pitches. Right now he has 4 pitches of over 20% usage. So, I mean, he's doing a really great job of balancing, keeping hitters off guard. He's right now he's up, as you said, most recently too. He's now had 4 straight consecutive quality starts. He's getting a ton. He's got, gets a lot of ground balls with that pitch mix. And you said too, like the Phillies right now are just, underperforming. At some point, they are going to start winning games. That offense is just too good to, to not be winning games. So not only is he going to give you quality starts, but he's also going to give you those quality starts are also going to be wins if you're going to win leagues. So if for whatever reason, I mean, it seems like if you're like me, you're looking for pitching every week, Ranger Suarez is your pickup, at least for this week.
I love it. Well, as always, we are here to help your teams. That's what we love doing. We love seeing people, reach out to us on DMs and send us those messages and said, hey, you know what, that pickup that you guys advised us to do, 2 weeks ago really helped my team. So we love seeing that stuff. If you have any questions, if you have, any feedback, or more importantly, if you just want to tell us how awesome we are, reach out to us on Twitter, or like I said before, come to fantasy6pack.net, become a subscriber, and you can talk to us all day, every day, and you'll never miss us. Anyways, thank you so much from Jason and I. We hope to see you here next week. Thank you.